So today we are going to see the networking concepts in AWS. Okay. So you guys know how to create an EC2 instance and how it is working, and what are the workflows of creating a server and the configurations, and what is exactly you want to just giving the or just selecting the parameters according to your requirements. So like I'm talking about the storage, the OS you want, the instance name you're giving. So each and everything that you're creating on the AWS console yesterday, that's what we saw in our last classes. But today we are just gonna see about yeah, hi Gopi.
Hi, Soumya.
Yeah, so
Good evening.
good evening. We are just started now. Okay, just I just started now. So today the concept is about networking, and we are gonna see what is VPC, what is subnets, and what is subnet mask, how to calculate your IP addresses and CIDR range, and then how you will identify the private IP address and the public IP address, and then also today you're going to create a VPC subnet route tables and internet gateway on your AWS console. Okay. Okay, so as I already told, and in the introduction class also, I told you something about the VPC and the security group things and all, right? So can anyone say about what is VPC or what is particularly we are just using it? You can say it as a one word answer or one sentence. Make it short and just tell that what is exactly VPC is.
Mainly like the security purpose, right, Soumya?
Can you be louder, please?
Mainly security purpose we're using the VPC, like normally.
Security purpose, okay.
Yeah, for accessing
It
the
is just
private
like
and
a
public
private
keys.
cloud.
Exactly. You should use the terminologies like it is a virtual private cloud or a logically isolated private cloud for your AWS. Okay. So in the meanwhile, I'll ask you questions and I also tell you how to answer that in a technical terms. Okay. If someone asks you what is VPC, you should say this is a logically isolated private cloud that you can able to run your application, deploy your services or whatever thing you want to do. You're going to take, see the cloud is very big, and inside the cloud you're going to rent or you're going to just take a dedicated place for yourself to create your own secure deployments and application services like that. Okay, so so VPC is nothing but it is logically isolated section of AWS, and also you can launch your AWS services by using the VPCs. See, in default, you will be going to have one VPC is already there in your AWS account. Okay, that is not created by you, which is created by AWS account itself for you. So that is called as the default VPC, and also you can only you can customize or you can create your own VPCs also. So that default VPCs, you can if you don't want to go with the particular thing, just you want to test something, means you can go with default VPCs. But in real world, you're going to create a new custom VPC and you're going to create the subnet mask, route table, whatever the things that you want to create, you're going to do that on your own customized VPC section. Okay. So which is a defined network that is you're going to create. And then it
Okay,
runs. Okay.
sorry for the interruption. Soumya, before we proceed further, I just want to understand the difference between the EC2 instance and the VPC. EC2 instance is just like a repository in AWS, if
It's
I'm
not like a
all right.
repository. EC2 instance is
Okay.
nothing but your virtual machine.
Okay.
Okay. VPC
It's
is
a
nothing.
virtual machine.
Yeah, it is a virtual
Yeah.
machine. But VPC is you are getting a layer of, see, I told you the cloud is very big. That is you having unlimited storage in cloud. Okay. But you going to take some of the particular area for you to run your EC2 instance. So your okay, I'll show you in diagram. Here's if I can draw. So as I told no, okay, here you can see that. So this is your AWS account. So yesterday I draw this no. Why I draw this for you means you have to get the understanding of the particular things. So this is your AWS account. So first thing, what will you do? You will just create your AWS account, and inside that you're going to choose your region. Okay, so this is what your region. So inside your region you're going to create your VPC. The very next step that you're doing is just selecting or creating your VPC. Okay, so what is this VPC here? So inside the AWS is an unlimited area that is providing multiple services for you to just create resources inside that. So using that, a very big network of AWS, and then inside you're just choosing your region. Okay, so why you choosing region? Because see what if you are running a project in your in India means you can go with Mumbai or another region which is what to say, which is proximity to you, okay, which is nearest to you. Like that you can choose your region, and then the very next point you're going to create the VPC. Why you want to create the VPC? Because I told you the AWS is very big network. Inside that you're going to create a smallest section of network which is secure for you, which is only going to access by you. So you're going to create the smallest portion or the smallest section of very big network. Okay, so this particular network, this particular network that is just created, and it is going to used by you. Inside that only you're going to just have the availability zones. Yesterday we saw, right? Also I'll tell you, by default you will be going to have two maximum, it will be 7 or 8 or 10. Okay, it will be going to like that. So initially you will able to have 2 availability zones in each region. Okay, region is nothing but US East 1. What is availability zones? That is US East 1A. Okay, and another you're going to create another one availability zone. Why you want to go to 2 or 3 availability zones? Because your application is running in only one data center. Means if that data center just crashed or any accident happened or anything disaster or whatever happened to the particular data center, your application will be destroyed and it is crashed. To avoid such bad things, you're going with another one backup area, and that is called the another availability zone. So this will be US East 1B. Okay, so this is 1B and this is 1A. So 2 different locations, you're going with 2 different locations. See, your application should be secure, it should be run smoothly, and it should not be hacked by anyone. And always you have to take the backup of your application and data, and then you should always have the data and what are the things you want to keep it secret, that should be kept very secured manner. Okay, for that, how will you make it secured? You will be going to have a dedicated portion or the dedicated kind of network with you. Okay, a very big network is AWS, and inside that you're going to take a smallest portion for your application to run securely, and inside that you're going with 2 or 3 availability zones you're choosing according to your project. Okay, so why you're choosing that? To avoid the disaster recovery. If you choose only one availability zone, if that crashed, everything will be crashed. But you have another one backup availability zones, means you can if one availability zone is crashed or something, you can still able to run your application smoothly, and you have everything backup on your second availability zone. That's why you're going with this kind of choosing multiple availability zones here. Okay, to avoid your disaster recovery. So inside that, what will you have? You will be going to have public subnet and then private subnet. Okay, so this is your public subnet and this is your private subnet. Okay, so same like that you will going to have here also. So this will be your public and this will be your private. So inside your public and private subnet, what will you have? You're going to run your EC2 instance. Okay, so this is your EC2 instance 1 and this is your EC2 instance 2. Like that, you will be going to have instances running here also. Okay, like that you will be having instances here also. So what is instances here? That is your virtual machine, nothing but your servers. So you having 2 applications or 3 applications, how many applications you have, you can able to run your applications here. So your app is running inside the virtual machines. Okay, is that clear? So this is what called EC2 server and this is what called VPC, a defined network for you to run your application. Okay, you can create your resources inside your VPC. Is that clear, guys?
Yeah,
Yes,
so
Soumya, now it's clear. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to give this particular network to the outside, if someone from outside want to access your net application, means you can able to give them through the internet gateway. Okay, if you just attach your public subnet with the public route table here. Okay, so public route table is to be associated with your public subnet and private subnet should be associated with your private subnet, private route table. Okay, so once your public route table and private route table is created and associated with the particular subnets, then you can able to just attach the public subnet to the internet gateway. Always your public subnet will be attached to internet gateway and your private route table or your private subnet or private instances, that will be in private only. So once you want to give the outsiders or public access, you can attach this with the NAT gateway. Okay, so for public subnet, what is giving internet? That is internet gateway. For private subnet, what is giving internet? NAT gateway. Okay, so NAT gateway is it is somewhat quite costly, and also for if your project doesn't require to be accessed by outsiders, means you can keep it as private itself. Okay, guys, is that clear?
Yeah, Soumya, when it comes to subnets, is it mandatory to create both the private and public subnets, or
Yeah,
either one of them?
Yeah, in real time you will be doing that. So initially, if for learning purpose or you're just doing some of the testings in your production, means you can just create the public subnet and that is enough. But if you having some project involved or the configuration files or the application should be running or data should be kept secret, means you should create a private subnet then. Okay. So once you created the private subnet, inside that you will be creating your EC2 instances, and inside your DB or databases or whatever the data you want to store, you can store securely here also. Okay.
Yes, Soumya. Sure.
Okay. So you can provide control over IP addresses, subnets, and routing. We saw that now, right? You have created the VPC. You created the VPC, and the very next step you are going to create the subnets, routing tables, and each and everything will be mentioned by the IP addresses and subnet mask only. Okay, so the CIDR range, IP address, and how to calculate this, I will be telling you in our later slides. Okay. So it supports public and private subnets, as I show you in this picture, right? You will be going to have public and private subnet, and then it can be connected on premises. So do you guys have any idea about on premises? So yesterday also I told you about what is this.
no, organization like we have data centers like that, right?
Yeah, it is acting like a physical data center. Okay, so cloud is nothing but you're going to do that on virtually. But if you run your organization has its own data center or its own physically maintained number of servers, means that is called your on premises. Okay. And also, if your organization is not yet migrated to cloud, they are using everything in their local means, that is what called on premises. If they want to use to cloud means, if they want to make it using on the virtual places like AWS or Google, they can easily go with the VPN or direct connect. These are some of the services that is available by the third party tools, and also AWS have the managed services for this also. Okay, you can easily migrate your local to a cloud. And then you will be using security groups and network ACLs. So what does security group means? Security group act like a firewall to your EC2 instance. Okay, see, if you're creating your server and you're just exposing this to everyone means, you can just allow all. Okay, but if you want to restrict your server means, you can easily restrict by inbound and outbound rules. Okay, there are rules for your there is rules for your service. If you want someone to allow that people want to come inside and they can do some changes, if that really wants means, you can just allow their IP address or you can allow all. Okay, so that any person can come and work on your server. If you don't want to allow anyone, only you want to work on the particular server means, you can simply allow your IP address only. Okay, so if it is just accepting your IP address only means, it will not going to take other people to just come into your server and working like that. It will restrict other IP addresses. It will allow only your IP address. Okay. And ACL is nothing but it's a wrap over to your security group. Okay. So in security group, it is like a rules for inbound only. You only going to set rules for inbound. But ACL is nothing but access control list. For here, it is going to have rules for inbound as well as for outbound. Okay. So I told you one real-time example yesterday. So I'll just repeat that. The same for the apartment, a delivery person is coming and he want to deliver something means, what he will do, he will come to the he will go to the security person or guard. He will just go and tell why I'm coming here, what is the purpose of my visit to this apartment and whom I'm going to meet. Like that, he will be writing all his details and just going to the particular person. He goes to meet the particular person and he's just giving his parcel and then he will come back. Okay, once the permission for that person to go inside only noted. If he is coming outside means, no one is going to ask him, he will just deliver his parcel and he is going out. Like that, security group will act. If some IP address or some request is coming to your security group, it will check for the incoming request only. If the person's work is done or the request is done, they can easily log out or they can easily just close their things on that. No outbound rules is required. Okay. But access control list is not like that. It will check for incoming rules and it will also check for outbound rules also. If someone comes in, it will check for that, and if someone goes out, okay, if the person really have the access to just get the server out or go logging out or whatever the thing, it will going to have the permission for that also. So security group is cost efficient and network access control list is somewhat quite costly for your application. Okay. And then it enables custom routing and internet access via gateways. We saw that, right? Gateways is nothing but you will be having internet gateway and next thing is NAT gateway. So internet gateway is for public subnet and NAT gateway is for private subnet. Okay. Then CIDR. Okay, do you guys have any idea about what is CIDR? Did you saw this word or hear this about CIDR range or CIDR values like that?
I do help like range of making IP address, right?
Exactly, it's a range of IP addresses in your VPC. Okay. So CIDR notation defines the range of IP addresses in your VPC. So for example, if you see something like this is what called CIDR. Okay, it adding the IP address plus the subnet mask, like the number 2-digit number 16 or 32 or 8 something you're seeing after the slash, right? So that prefix is called subnet mask, and this is called IP address, and overall it is called CIDR. Okay guys, so in real time in selecting for VPC subnet, you should able to know the CIDR calculations. Okay, don't worry if you don't know the calculation, you can go with the internet calculator websites also there. It is free and you can able to just know the calculations and number of IP addresses there itself. But before that, just get to know about how come you can calculate the things of IP addresses and the CIDR range. Okay, I'll show you this documentation here. So this is what called CIDR range. Okay, it consists of IP address and then subnet mask. What is subnet mask here? This /24 is called a subnet mask. Okay, and then if you see somewhat like /30 or 29 or 24 like this, you can able to see that numbers. If you see the particular numbers, means that subnet mask consists of 255.255. This is some I'll just show you this mountain. Okay, but before that, just try to know how many number of IPs are there. If it is /24, you will be going to have 256 IPs. How can you calculate this? You having this formula. Okay, so there are number of IPs equal to 2 exponential of 32 minus your CIDR prefix. So what is your CIDR prefix here? /24, /25 or /16, 32, whatever it is, that is what your CIDR prefix. So the default is 32. You should minus with the 32. See, if you see here, it is 26, means what you will do? Okay, 2 to the power of 32 minus 26. So what is 32 minus 26? That is 6. Okay, so so here you can see 64 IP addresses. What is 2 to the power 6? That is 64. Okay, so that number of IP addresses consist in this overall CIDR range. Okay, so if you see CIDR range, if you want to calculate how many number of IP addresses that hold, you can go with this formula and you can do that. If you don't know, that means you can go with the online calculators also. Simply you can search for CIDR calculations or CIDR calculator. Okay, see, you will be going to have 10 to 15, more than 10 to 15. Okay, you will be having that much availability of calculators here. You can just click on anything, but I will recommend you guys to go with IP address here. Okay, IP address guide. So this is very handy and so informative. So just click on that. If you want to calculate how much is for 16, you can give that 16 and you can go for calculate. So it will show you how many number of IP addresses you have, what is the first IP address, what is the last IP address, and what is the subnet mask, each and everything that you will be going to know now. Okay, here you can see this is what the CIDR range that we gave, and here you can see the net mask, and there are some advanced details here, but you can take the first IP and then the last IP, and then total host is nothing but how many number of IP addresses that holds. Okay, and also you can calculate IP range to CIDR also. Just click on calculate. Okay, I'll just give 55 or something. You can see the result here. Okay, so /32, 29, /26, don't confuse with this. It's just showing you how many CIDR ranges are there. Okay, okay, it will be clear for you. So from 0 to 255 means the subnet mask will be 24. Okay, you can easily calculate the IP range to CIDR, and you can easily calculate the CIDR to IP range also. Okay, so that is what called a cider, and then the calculations and the formulas also there. If you want, just try that on your own, and just you just take the idea of how it is creating and how it is calculating. Actually, it's not creating, how it is have been calculating through the DevOps engineers or like that. See, but most of the cases you will be going to have 16, 24 and 8 only. Okay, I'll show you that. Okay, these are the common subnets that you're using in your real world production team. Okay, so it consists of 24 consists of 256 IP addresses, and for 16 is this, and for 8 is this. 8 is a very big network, and it consists more IP addresses. Okay, so these are the very popular and most commonly used subnet masks and CIDR in real time. Okay, so CIDR blocks allows for efficient IP allocation, and also if you want particularly go with see, there are classes of IP addresses there. Okay, class A, class B, class C, like that you will be having that particular IP allocations. If you want to go with particular selected IP IP address means you can choose that also. I'll show you that here. So this is what called the IP ranges started from. Okay, these are all called private IP addresses. Okay, so these are all called private IP addresses. So that is categorized as class A, class B and class C. So class A is nothing but it starts from 10.0.0.0 to some of the ranges like this. Okay, so the whole range you're seeing here, right? So this is what called a normal network, you can say. Okay, that is used in your projects or whatever it is, but basically these three things are called private IP addresses, and except whatever have been mentioned here, that is called public IP addresses. Okay, so it's starting from 1 to 126, 128 to 191.255.0.0, and then starting from 192 to 223. These are all private IP addresses. Okay, except if you see somewhat except not mentioned here, that all rest of the IP addresses is called public IP addresses. Okay, so basically this is a very big network. Okay, this is used in a big network like big projects. Okay, and these ranges you can see that in your VPC, AWS VPC, so that in some of the smaller network like that. Okay, and this is 192 series, and 223 you not able to see anywhere. Okay, but 192 you can see this on your local laptop or on your PCs. Okay, so this is a very big network. /8/16 you can see that on your VPC. Okay, so that range of network is this, and then this is for your personal computers or systems. You can see that on your system itself it will be starting from 192 only. Okay, so these are some advanced notes. I'll share this PPT with you. Just go with the things. Class D, class C, these are all we're not using nowadays. Okay, this is very common base of using IP addresses range. Just go through this, and if you come to see something related in 126 or 191, that is exactly private IP address. If you not see anything in this table, that is what called public IP address. Okay, clear. And then subnet. So in VPC you will be going to have public subnet as a smaller portion, right? So inside the public subnet you will be seeing EC2 instances, and you also have public and private subnet, right? That is also called a small components inside your VPC. Okay, you can see this subnet is a segment which is within VPC for an organizing resources. So in this diagram, first is AWS, and then region, and then VPC. So what is the next step inside the VPC? That is creating different availability zones. Inside that you will be having smallest segment of your AWS resources. Okay, so this is what called public subnet, and this is what called private subnet. So you have two types of subnets here: public, which is having internet access, and private, which is for internal use. Okay, And then public subnet, you're going to routing the public subnet into private public route table, and then you're going to attach it to the internet gateway. For private subnet, you're creating private subnet and routing it to private route table, and then if you want to give external access, you can create NAT gateway. If you don't want to create a NAT gateway here. And also each subnet is tied with one availability zone, but not one, it is more than two. Okay, default to 8 or 10, or the numbers will be increasing according to the updates of AWS. Okay, and then allows network segmentation and security isolation. So what subnet is doing here, inside the VPC, it is giving you two different segments, in network segments, for your security isolation. Okay, I told you what is subnet mask. This is IP address, and which is the prefix. This is what called subnet mask. Okay, and then I have told you with the Word document itself. Just go through this PPT, so you can able to again see what is the /24 and how much things it contains, and how to calculate this, what are the common subnets, each and everything you will come to know here. So again, you will be having formula here, how to calculate the IP address, number of IP addresses, and you will be having one again website tool here. And also here are some examples. You can just use these examples, and also you can just go with the calculation and try to do it on your own also. And then security groups, I told it acts as a virtual firewall overwrapper for your EC2 instances. EC2 instances or AWS instances, but EC2 is the proper way. Okay, it's a proper word to pronounce, not AWS instances. Okay, so it is EC2 instances. It as I told before, it going to control by using inbound rules and outbound rules. Most probably we are not using outbound rules, we are only focusing on the inbound rules only in security group. If we giving both rules, means that is going to be your access control list. Okay, that is your ACL. And then the rules can be defined based on IP addresses, ports, protocols. Okay, IP address is nothing but 10.0.0.0, that is what called your IP addresses. Ports is nothing but 443 or port 80, like that, HTTP or HTTPS, that is what called your ports. There are multiple ports are there, but for this is what a famous ports are being. Okay, and then protocols is nothing but according to your rules. And then a security group is stateful in nature. Return traffic is automatically allowed. So stateful in nature means it will remember what person or what request comes inside your EC2 instance. Okay, so security group is stateful, and ACL is not stateful. Okay, it's unstateful, because it forgets who came in the incoming rules, and it forgets the output or outbound rules also. But here it will be it gets remember about who come in, the person can go out also, everything will be remembered. But ACL, it is not remembered, that is why we calling it as stateful and unstateful. Okay, and then it can apply it in the instance level also. You can create one security group, and also you can attach that security group to multiple EC2 instances also. Okay, and then there will be default SG also there. How you have default VPC, like that you will be having default security groups, and if you don't want to go with more restrictions, you can go with the default security group. It will create the permission with accessing, it can be accessible to everyone, like that it will allow all to just come and log in into your EC2 instance, or just view your applications output. Okay, and also you can be modified anytime. You can customize your security group, and you can do the security adjustments at any time. Okay, so IPv4 is nothing but you will be having IPv4 version and v6 version also. Okay, this is one version and this is one version, but most probably we will be using IPv4 version only. We are not going with IPv6. Okay, so this is highly recommended version, and each and everything you will be seeing with IPv4 only. That is what primarily supported in every aspects of your AWS resources. Okay, so this is a primary addressing format in AWS, and it has 32-bit address scheme, which is nothing but /32. Okay, and then it is allocated in VPC CIDR blocks. Yeah, it is allowing internet connectivity, so it is nothing but a IP addresses version 4. Okay, don't confuse this as of now, but get to know that you are only using IPv4 version in AWS. Okay, and then public IPv4 for internet gateway, nothing but just remember IP. Okay, so your public IP, it will having internet connectivity. Your private IP address, it will having internal communication, it's for internal use. So NAT gateway enables private IPv4 instances to access the internet for your private IP addresses. Okay, so NAT gateway, it giving internet access to your private IP addresses, and the internet gateway, it giving the internet access to your public IP addresses. And then elastic IP concept is nothing but each and every time you reboot or restart your system or EC2 server, you will get to have a new public IP address only. Okay, to each and every time you're getting new IP address means you able to change the thing or change the configuration, or you, if you don't see, or if you don't have the public IP address stored anywhere means you will not easily, it is not easy for you to get the changing IP addresses. To if you want the IP address should be static and it should not be dynamic, like changing each and every reboots, you can go with elastic IPs. So elastic IP will give you persistent or permanent IP address. If it is 50.10.10.10 means it will be remains same whenever you reboots or restart your EC2 server. If you don't attach it with elastic IP, each and every time you restart your system, you will just get a new IP address only. See, the before thing is 50.10.10.10 means again you can get 59.19.16.18 like that. Okay, and then I told you briefly about what is internet gateway. Just go through this PPT. And then public and private route tables, you know that. See, if you have your Wi-Fi, right, so the internet is just going into your router, and then from router the internet or the traffic is going to your devices, right, like TV or mobile phone, whatever the devices that you want to connect with internet, you are having that router to just take the signal or traffic from outside to providing that to your devices. Like that, if you want to have your server with internet, you just using this public or private route tables. From that route tables, it is taking the signal from outside, and the private or public route table is just providing the signal to your EC2 server. Here, what is your device? Your device is EC2 server here. Okay, that is what a virtual machine. So that is how it's acting. And again, public route table will be associated with public subnets, and private route table will be associated with private subnets. Okay, then only you can able to provide the internet to the two different subnets. Okay, and then NAT gateway is nothing but network address translation. See, you can ask me public, if you provide internet means that will be your public subnet, and also you're going to provide internet to your private subnet means what is the name called private here. You're also going to get the access, or you're also going to get the internet for private also, but why you telling it as private? That is public only. No, it has been changed to public. You can ask me the questions, but what is NAT gateway here means internet gateway, it will explicitly tell you, okay, I am providing you internet and I am acting as a public subnet, and I am giving you each and everything. It will be saying it to your face itself. But what NAT gateway will do means it acts as a public subnet. It is not an exactly public subnet. Okay, it is still private and it can be still access to the internet. Okay, it's so NAT gateway is nothing but it going to act like a public subnet, but it is not a public subnet. If each and every point or each or every topic, if you go very intense means you will not get to understand about that. Okay, So get to know this. Internet gateway will tell you openly that I'm doing this job, but NAT gateway will not straightly tell you. It just act as a public subnet only. Whatever it is showing the or accessing to the internet, still it is private only. Okay, you can able to restrict the rules for that, but in public subnet you cannot restrict the rules. It is openly accessible to everyone. Okay. So, do you guys have any doubts? Hello?
For now, Soumya, but I need to go through the recorded video one more time, and in case if I get any doubts, I'll get back to you again.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so back to public and private IP address again. I was already told much about this topic. You can see here. So these are all the IP addresses, private IP addresses, and which is not in this particular table, that is called public IP addresses. Okay, and then public IP is assigned to instances in a public subnet. So whatever is public subnet or public route table, that IP addresses you can see, it will be in a public IP only. Okay. For private IP, you can see the particular table, the particular series. If you couldn't see the particular series, that is what called a public IP. Okay. And so public IP that is associated with your public subnet. So it is easily accessed with over the internet. But private subnet, you will not able to put the output in net, open area like Chrome or whatever the tools you have, right? You cannot do like that because that is private for internal use only. Public IP is only able to show your outputs in the Chrome or in the other websites. Okay, because that has the internet access. Okay, that's all for today. We can quickly see the hands-on for how to create a VPC. Okay, just open your AWS console, click on the VPC services and open in new tab. And then here you can see the virtual private cloud tab and the menus also, your VPCs, your created subnets, your route tables and the internet gateways. You can able to see this. So the elastic IP, we just saw the topic, right? So if you create the elastic IP address and you're going to allocate or associate with the running IP address, running EC2 server or the new EC2 server, you can able to do that. Okay. So let's go and create a VPC. Just click, this is what your default VPC. Okay. Here you can see the tenancy, it is default and default VPC, yes. Okay. So now we are going to create your customized VPC here. So here you have two options. If you want to create VPC only, you can go with here. But you want subnets, route tables, internet gateways, they all should be associated with your VPC, means you can go for VPC and more. Just give my custom VPC. Okay. And here you can give the IP CIDR. So 0.0.0/24. So 8 is very big network. 16 is also very big network. I'm going with 24. So for this CIDR block, how many IP addresses I will be having? It is 256 IP addresses. Okay. So this CIDR consists of 256 IP addresses. Must be within 16 or 28. Okay, I'll just go with 16. And then tenancy. So IPv6 is not recommended. We are not using that. But so IPv6 is, I'm not using that CIDR. So it's just I left it with the default setting itself. Tenancy is nothing but you can able to see default and dedicated. If you want to rent the particular VPC, means you can go with default, but if you want to own the VPC, means you can go with dedicated. But if you go with dedicated, that is very much cost for you because you're not going with the renting option. You're going to own the particular VPC or network area. Okay, so that it will be going to cost you so much. So default is like renting and dedicated is like owning the VPC. So everybody will go for default only. Just click on the default, and then if you want to give any tags you can go, but not now. I'm just going and creating VPC. Okay, so here you can see the, okay, I think I didn't give the VPC and more option, I guess. Okay, sorry. Custom VPC. I want to select my I want to create my subnets, route tables, and internet gateways. Okay, here you can see that this is what my VPC that is associated with the subnets, public subnets, private subnets, and these are all things I'm going to configure here. Whatever I'm configuring here, that is going to reflect in this particular area. Okay, I'll show you that. So name is custom VPC. You can give whatever the name that suits to you. Okay, and then I'm just leaving it with 16 itself because the CIDR block size must be 16 and 28. So I'm just going with 16. So how many IP addresses it have? It holds 65,536 IP addresses. Okay, and every time you create the VPC, right? Whenever you're creating the VPC, 5 servers it will be, or 5 IP addresses it will be taken by AWS for its future purpose. Okay, if it want to give you some hostings, or if that want to give you to just take backups or whatever it is, it will going to take 5 IP addresses from how many IP addresses you have created. If you creating 256, you will be going to have the access of 251 only. So the 5 IP addresses will be taken by AWS for its own purpose, for its managed services that is going to be provided for you. Okay, so keep this in mind. So however IP addresses you are creating, you will minus 5, then what is the balance IP addresses, that is what you have the access to do. Okay, and then tenancies default. Number of availability zones, always go with minimum 2. Okay, maximum 3 or however it is, you can just click on that, but starting default from 2 is very good practice. And then number of subnets, public subnet I need 2 public subnets, and private subnets I need 2 private subnets. And then NAT gateway I'm not creating now because you can see the dollar symbol here. This is a very costly one to create, so I'm not going with that. And then VPC endpoints, you can click on none or S3 gateway, anything. I'm just clicking on none because I don't want any VPC endpoints here. And you can go and click on create VPC. So here you can see your VPC. This is what your IDs, okay, unique IDs for your resources. So if employee is there, means they will be having unique employee ID, right? So like that, whatever the resources you are creating in AWS, you will be going to have the unique ID for the particular resources. So this is what your VPC, this is what your subnets IDs and internet gateway, and then route table IDs. You can see that here. Click on view VPC. Okay, here you can able to see the connections here. So this is what your VPC, and here your subnets. I just chose 2 public and 2 private subnets, right? You can see that I chose 2 availability zones, that is what this, and then public private. Okay, so 2 subnets in US, one US East 1A as availability zone, and another 2 subnet in another availability zone. And then I am just associating public subnet with the public route table. You can see the relation. Okay, and private subnet with the private route table. Okay, so this is how it has been has the relation and the connection between the different resources. Okay, so once it has been connected to the route table, I am having the internet connection, internet gateway. You can see that whenever I just hover on the customer VPC internet gateway, custom VPC IGW, you can see it is showing the VPC public. Okay, custom VPC route table of public. So public subnet, see here, it is just going with public subnets. Okay, so public subnet from here having the relation to the public route table, and the public route table is associated with the internet gateway. Now you can view the relation between the resources that you have been created. So this is what the backend networking things that is happening on VPC, and inside this one day you are going to create your EC2 instances. Okay, you can just click on EC2 here, and then you can go and create your servers. Okay, is that clear, guys? Today PPTs. Okay, everything is fine. So any doubts? Okay, just go to the go and again just view the recordings, and if anything you couldn't understand, just post that in group, or you just try to know that on searching it. If you don't understand there, you just post that in group. I'll telling you what the exactly thing that was. Okay, don't worry, just go through the recordings and list out your doubts, and what are the things that you have been lack of understanding, like that. Okay, and also I'll just stop recording. I gave you the assignments, but no, I couldn't see any results in group. Try to do assignments in daily basis. If you hesitate to do that, means you will be going to it will be like more topics that you're going to learn in the wait. Okay, just try to learn everything on the daily basis, and if any doubts, just be interactive in the group also. Okay.
Sure, Soumya.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Gopi and Ganesh, are you there in class?